If you had a choice, would you rather pay with cash or with silver? So do you want to know how you can actually buy stuff with silver without having to convert it to fiat? Today on Silver Forever, I managed to get a really cool custom-made item from another member of the community, and I paid for it in silver instead of fiat currency. And as it turns out, it ended up being a really good deal for both parties involved, and let me explain why. First of all, there are pros and cons, advantages and challenges associated with using silver to make purchases as opposed to using fiat. But at the same time, if you can cut out the middleman, in this case the bullion dealers or online vendors who are charging very high premiums for particular silver items, well then it tends to make sense for both the buyer and the seller to send and receive silver instead of fiat. But wait a second. Before we go any further, let me actually show you what item I purchased using silver bars and coins. This custom-made item came directly from a member of the precious metals community on YouTube, and although he's not a content creator, he's always in the comments section, always in the live chats, and just an all-around really good guy. He's starting his very own leatherworking business. There's a hint. I actually found Desert Bob's Instagram and saw some of the really amazing work that he's done with leather, specifically some custom knives and holsters. I know he did other mats before, and so I actually decided, hey, I am going to reach out and try to commission a custom Silver Forever leather mat that we can share on the channel. And so we got the deal done. Oh boy. Guys, this looks so much better in person than I would have even imagined. Damn. All right, and now for the unveiling. We got some cool stamps in the corners. They're a tree and then a predator and a prey animal. In each of those circumstances, here we got a fish and an owl. Check this out. Silver Forever. Different finishes, and then we actually even have a special place that will fit a mercury dime. So we got that inlay there. Really excited about this piece, and he's just started his own business. It's called Desert Bob's Leather and Loot. So make sure to check out his Instagram if you are interested in getting something custom designed. Desert Bob has also done custom pieces for Pistol Packing Pilot, Triple P, and Campbell's Coins. My personal experience with Desert Bob throughout this process is that he's been very open to ideas. He's given me options about sizes for the mats, many different textures and colors that were available, but he's also kind of given me a little bit of pushback on some of my original ideas and offered much better ideas, suggestions for improvement that have led to this mat that I'm really happy with. And so thank you once again, Desert Bob, for all your help. And to anybody out there who's interested in getting some custom leather work done, that's going to be your guy, so make sure to reach out to him on your own. But really what I want to talk about today is the process of buying something with silver as opposed to fiat currency, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of doing that. Now, your mileage may vary, but in the case of my mat, the price was originally quoted on April 26th, $180 in fiat, or 6 ounces in silver. And I asked Desert Bob, what kind of silver do you like? And he said, well, I like to stack 5-ounce bars, and I like $50. And I happen to know from a previous comment that Desert Bob's favorite type of $50 are the Franklins, and so I figured, you know what, might as well give him some of these. You know, if you do the math on $50, you probably know from my buying junk silver for beginners videos, or maybe even from some of my trivia videos, that there's about 0.36 troy ounces of actual silver weight in each one of these $50. So that would be 0.36, 0.72, and then this would bring around to like 1.08. So let's say about 1.1 troy ounces. So we're just going to call it an even 1. So 5 plus 1 equals 6 troy ounces, and that was the price in silver versus the fiat price of 150, 70, 80. So 180 in cash or 6 ounces in silver, which comes out to about $30 per ounce. Now, keep in mind that this deal was originally made on April 26th. So ballpark value at the time, I would say the 5-ounce bar was probably worth about $145. The junk silver probably around $35, which gave us that $180 total. Now, in terms of my personal real cost, when I purchased these items, I bought this 5-ounce bar from Monument Metals. It actually came brand new and with an assay card, which is right here associated with the serial number. 39's fine. It's an Italo Preciosi bar. You might have noticed from my stacking silver bars for beginners video that this is actually the only 5-ounce bar that I have. So even if I could find a cheaper 5-ounce bar out there, I like Desert Bob, you know, he's a great guy. We're gonna give him my one and only 5-ounce bars, since that's something that he really likes to stack on his own. As for the junk silver, back in the day, junk silver used to be pretty low premium. You might actually be able to get it close to spot, or, you know, buyback might actually be less than spot. I was blown away when I just looked online right now. The cheapest junk silver was 50% premium. Places like JM are charging 66% premium just for random 90% silver. Now, I would say a far more reasonable price, something that I was getting a lot more back in the day, was closer to 20x times face value, certainly at the spot prices that we're seeing like today. By the way, today is May 19th, and the latest spot price that I just saw was $22.21. Now, back when this deal was made, spot was $23.61. And so that's really important to keep in mind. Desert Bob, in this case, had agreed on the basis of a $30 per ounce equivalent in fiat. But are we really caring about what the fiat value is of this silver? Or does that actually take away from the meaning of this transaction actually occurring in silver in the first place? Of course, it makes sense to think about it in terms of fiat, because we're thinking about how much did it cost for me to acquire this? Or maybe how much would it cost for Desert Bob to acquire this on the exact same day as I'm sending it to him? Or how much would it cost for me to sell this back, convert it into fiat, and then pay him with said fiat? Now, these are all questions that have been answered already because I broke down the math, and let's go over that now. The real cost to me was about $158 for this silver. So I'm buying a product that in my mind is worth $180 or even more because of Desert Bob's skill and expertise. So already this deal is looking pretty good, right? One thing to note is that midway through this deal, on May 12th, spot price got down as low as $20.74. And so from Desert Bob's perspective, you might think he locked in this price at a $30 per ounce equivalent, and now silver is down below $21 at some point between the time when the piece was created and when the payment was received. Now, of course, it has risen again, but it still hasn't got anywhere close to that spot price that we saw at the initiation of the deal. Now, what's funny about this is that the actual price of these products hasn't really changed a whole lot, because premiums have just continued to go up for physical as the spot has dropped. Now, if I was to look at the cost from my perspective as of today, the cheapest 5-ounce bar that you can find on Fine Bullion prices is just over $133. It's one of those Mint ID bars that no one seems to want. And for junk silver, if I was to go locally, I can pick it up at 22x, which would put the value of these 3 Franklin half dollars at $33 for a total of $166.10. But think about it this way. If I was to go and take these up to the LCS right now, and spot price is just over 22, let's say I could get 23 an ounce for this. That would put me at $115 for the 5-ounce bar, $25 for the 3 Franklin's ballpark, would give me $140 cash back. So if I wanted to pay Desert Bob in fiat currency, I would have to take this silver up to the LCS, hopefully get $140 back, and then have to make up that extra $40 in order to complete the payment in fiat. Now, if Desert Bob was to receive the $180 in fiat currency and then have to go buy the silver himself, how much would that cost him? For a generic 5-ounce bar would be that $133, and the cheapest online to get 90% silver, 24 times face value. So for 3 of those Franklins, $1.50 puts you at $36, so just under $170 that it would cost him to get these same 6 ounces of silver, but he wouldn't actually get the same quality bar. These bars I've found within the last few weeks have gone from anywhere from between $145 to $180 on eBay, but you can actually find this bar at JM right now for $142.77, so right around $143. And if you were to try to get Franklin's instead of just generic junk silver, I'm assuming that it would go closer to 25x, which would put us at $37.50, and so that cost would be right around $180. Think about this. My real cost comes in at less than $160. If I were to try to convert it and I would basically lose the premiums, I would have to make up the difference between that $140 and $180. Meanwhile, Desert Bob gets over 6 ounces of silver, and if he wanted to buy these exact same items, it would still cost him anywhere from $170 to $180. Keep in mind that this is actually after we're seeing like a $1.50 drop in spot price since that time. And so in that way, it is kind of advantageous to both me and to Desert Bob to make this transaction in silver as opposed to in fiat currency. But there are some disadvantages, let's be real about this. One thing that we haven't discussed here is what happens if between the time we make the deal and I'm sending out the silver, what if the price of silver had gone up $10 in that time? Then it's really up to me as the buyer or as the trader of silver to honor the original price that we locked in early on, unless it's otherwise established contractually. When you're constantly making comparisons to the fiat value of the silver, then you can look at the value of the silver differently depending on whether spot goes up or spot goes down. It almost serves you more to just think about it as the silver itself, because this 5 ounces isn't changing. This, 1.1 ounces isn't changing. What's changing is the conversion rate of the silver into the fiat. So, if Desert Bob is willing to trade that leather mat and the time that it took to create that for 6 ounces today, shouldn't he be willing to trade it for 6 ounces tomorrow or the next day, regardless of the fiat price? It really does depend on how you think about the value of silver, and do you always relate it back to that fiat price? But like I said, imagine that the silver price had gone up. What happens if I turn around and I say, oh, now it's only worth 5 ounces of silver? This is something that you have to establish ahead of time with whoever you're making a transaction with. Unfortunately, we see in the private selling environment that this does happen sometimes. Let's say that a buyer goes to an auction and buys 10 ounces of silver at a certain rate, and then they're expected to pay immediately, but let's say they don't pay until the next day. And then the next day, the price of silver plummets $1. Well, what happens? Oftentimes, these people, if they're not honorable, if they don't have integrity, then they won't pay because they look at it as in, well, now I overpaid for this silver item. But the fact is that you locked in that price at that time, and so it's incumbent on you to honor the deal that was made. You need to be a man or a woman of your word. At the same time, I did kind of feel bad that the price of silver had changed in the meantime, and I was kind of happy with Desert Bob's willingness to come to the table and to make changes to the original plan and to really customize the mat in the way that I wanted. We were actually both present at an auction by Stormy at Empire Precious Metals, and long story short, he creates a lot of challenge coins for his channel, but I saw Desert Bob bidding on one of these, and so I outbid him. I reached it to him, which is basically another way of saying I had Stormy send it to him directly. And that was just kind of a way of giving him a tip, accounting for the difference, let's say, between the price of the silver during the original deal and today, although in reality it looks like it's still pretty close just because the premiums have changed with the spot price. In that way, I was able to kind of kill two birds with one stone, you know, hook it up to Desert Bob with a little bit of a tip there, but I was also able to support a struggling artist, and I'm all about supporting small independent creators and businesses so that they do have the opportunity to grow bigger. You get the picture. Now, what are some other disadvantages of transacting in silver as opposed to transacting in fiat? Instead of just being able to send digital fiat back and forth, in this case, I'm gonna have to ship some weight. I'm just gonna use one of these small flat rate boxes, and that way I can not only send along some of his silver, but also one of these limited edition Silver Forever stickers because he's such a great supporter of the channel. Let's see, what else do I got here? I'm gonna send him a Mercury dime as well in honor of the channel, and a nice letter just to kind of thank him. So we'll fit all that in here. We'll send it out quickly. I know it's not the cheapest way. In the interest of time, that's what I have available. But the point of all of this is to say that, yeah, shipping costs money, right? So it's gonna cost me more to do this as opposed to transact using some form of digital currency, let's say. But long story short, this is a way to kind of cut out the middleman so that all of us get the best end of this deal. Neither of us are paying additional premiums or losing money by going and selling to the LCS and then transacting in fiat. And so I just love that idea. I think it's a great idea, and it's also a great way that you can kind of support others in the community, especially those of us who are trying to build a skill set and an expertise that is valuable to other people. Why waste your time with the conversion back and forth into fiat cash when you can just pay with God's money, real money in the form of silver? Let me know if you have made any transactions in silver or in gold, really, or if you've ever been to a business, let's say, that accepted gold backs. I'm really curious to hear if any of you have made a practice of using real money. Silver barter practice is what Desert Bob has described it as. So let me know. And before we go, I also just want to say thank you to all of you out there who have been reaching out, who have been sending stuff to the P.O. box. I think it's really cool of you to do. I recently got a postcard all the way from Japan from a fan of the channel. We go back and forth a lot. I actually watch a lot of his videos. An occasional content creator is how he describes himself, but his name's Debonair Dylan. You'll be able to find his channel in the link below. We also got another great letter from the Stack and Crack, and this guy's a brand new channel, just started this year, but he went ahead and sent along a sticker as well as a brilliant uncirculated 1958 wheat penny that looks just fantastic. We also received some mail from one Darth Stacker. He sent this along, the Death Star 18, and also a couple of 1943 cents. One from America, one from Canada. This one is going to be 5 cents, it looks like, from Canada. So thank you to Darth Stacker for that. And last but certainly not least, Patriotic Stacker. So this is a guy who's been going around the community. He's got tons of really good interviews with a lot of the bigger channels. He recently teamed up with Triple P, Pistol Pack, and Pilot to do a weekly show called Trash Talk, where they interview a lot of big creators. They've had Silver Heist on, they've had Campbell's Coins on, all manner of different great creators, tons of cool stickers. And oh yeah, he sent along not only a modern proof dime, which is really nice. We've got the 1996 S here for San Francisco, but he also sent along an AU Voyager dollar. This is Canadian, 80% silver. We've got Young Liz on the back, in the words of two is one. And on this side of the Voyager dollar, we have the canoe. I have made this mistake before on the channel. These lines in the background are not trees, they are the Aurora Borealis. Thank you for that, Patriotic Stacker, and thank you to everybody who was featured in today's video. I really do appreciate it. I think that all of us should put our real money where our mouth is and start to do transactions, some trades, some buying, some selling. using silver instead of fiat currency. I'm not saying that silver or gold is really going to become the money of the future again, or that it's going to function every day as a currency, but it can and it should. And if we can keep that idea alive, certainly within our own community where people care about precious metals like silver and gold, then I think that we're not only going to be doing ourselves a favor, but we're also going to be helping to spread the word, support local business. I love the idea of using real money to buy real products from real people, support local businesses, spread the good word of gold and silver. And don't forget that if you want your very own chance to win one of these New Zealand Mint Star Wars 1 ounce silver Beskar bars from 2022, I'm gonna pull one out of this unopened package and give it away as soon as the channel hits 3,000 subscribers. And so if you want your own chance to win, make sure that you visit that video right there and comment 3,000, and that will make you eligible for this giveaway. Silver forever, out.